This week on TGC News, a recap of my massive travel schedule this month, an ultra cheap suppressor, and a pistol that drops animals like a frickin' rifle. The Shooting Club is a brand new mobile app that brings shooters together. Whether it's at your local range or at a private club, you can use their official targets to compete against your friends all over the world and have chances to win cash and prizes no matter what your score. You just download the free app, sign up, get your targets, and start shooting to win. You can even join the Gun Collective group that I started and shoot against me and other TGC fans. To learn more, hop on the Apple or Google App Store and download the free app now. Welcome back to the only gun news show that covers things that you actually care about, TGC News. My name is Jon Patton, and I am back. I've been on the road for about 15 days this month, off and on, and even though I'm exhausted, I'm back and ready to rock. I'll give you guys a bit of a breakdown on where I was. First up, Fayetteville, North Carolina for a few days to film a promo video for a manufacturer. Then off to Cleveland, Ohio, then home for 2 days, then up to Massachusetts to work with YHM on an upcoming Not a Review on their new Nitro 30 suppressor. Then I came home for 3 days, and then I left again for 10 days this time. First to Indiana to do some videos with Tim from Military Arms Channel, one that you may have already seen because we shot some big recoil guns, and that was a ton of fun, including my 500 rifles and Tim's 303 Jungle Carbine. Then I drove down to the Atlanta, Georgia area for the 4th annual IV8888 YouTube Range Day. That's always a fantastic event. For those of you that follow along on the TGC Facebook page, you will have already seen the first shots out of the new Ruger American Rifle chambered in .450 Bushmaster, as well as Falkor Defense announcing their new Dracos barrels and the Petra now being chambered in .300 Norma Magnum. I also got to try out a new modular 22 suppressor from KG Suppressors, the new 308 Long Ranger from Henry, and the super smooth Set Me L from Hill & Mac Gunworks. After all of that, I was fortunate enough to stick around at the IV8888 compound to do some more videos with those guys. And you may already have seen some of the videos I did with them. If this is the first video you're seeing on TGC since watching Mac or the Iraq Vet crew, then hello and welcome. So, North Carolina, Ohio, PA, Massachusetts, PA, Indiana, Georgia, then back to PA. It's been a hell of a month. Let it be known that no one else will put in the miles for you. I wanted to bring you guys up to speed as we start ramping up into SHOT Show and all the new products that'll be coming out and things like that very soon. And in What the F*** is that? I want that news, say hello to the FK BRNO field gun chambered in 7.5 FK. I don't get it either. Long story shorter, these guys are claiming to have the power of a .44 Magnum with the recoil impulse of a .40 Smith & Wesson.
When shooting the field pistol, it feels like shooting a .40 caliber, while in actual fact has the power of a .44 Magnum.
I think that's the first time anybody's bragged about having recoil like a .40. That immediately throws a BS flag for me, but I'll give anyone a fair shake. Let's dive deeper. At first glance, it looks like a paintball gun. It's got a 6-inch barrel, weighs in at a hefty 46 ounces, and is 9 inches long overall. That's approaching the size of a freaking Desert Eagle. It also holds 14+1 rounds of the 7.5 cartridge. Beyond that, they claim that it has an innovative recoil attenuation system, aka they made it super freaking heavy. And another claim, 1-inch groups at 100 meters. That's actually pretty impressive if it's true. And this is where I start to get really interested. They go on to talk about ballistics gel tests, but in my opinion, that doesn't really have much to do with the gun as it does with the bullet design, but the results were impressive nonetheless. Then we get into the specs of the ammo. They're saying 2,000 feet per second muzzle velocity with a projectile that weighs around 100 grains. That's flat out awesome out of a handgun. And as we get to the end of their promo video, they show a 360-pound deer being taken at about 75 meters out of a freaking handgun. That thing just drops. You had my interest, and now you have my attention. So why haven't you heard about this gun until now? Well, it wasn't available in the US until now. According to thefirearmblog.com, it just got approved for importation and will be shipping to distributors and then dealers very soon. I would love to get my hands on one of these things and see if the hype is real. I do, however, see a couple issues with it. One, I can bet that it's not going to be cheap, and two, you won't be able to find any ammo in real quantity for a very, very long time. Other than that, I want one. Now, while you're soaking all of that in, be sure to stick around for a friendly fire question about homemade guns. This week's friendly fire question is from Ben Neiman, whatever, on the TGC Facebook page, and he asks, would you ever use a home-built gun for home defense? When I hear home-built, I think 80% and things like that, and I'm going to answer the question in that regard. My answer is no, unless I absolutely had to. Adam would be a lot more knowledgeable on the actual legality of it, and even touch on something similar with carrying modified guns on an episode of The Legal Brief, but basically, you won't see me with any Punisher logos or anything like that on a defensive gun, and I certainly don't want to be on the bad end of a prosecution or a jury deciding that they don't like home-built, unserialized firearms. My friendly fire question to you guys this week: if you could go to any gun industry event like SHOT Show, NRA annual meeting, or the YouTube shoot, or any of these other big events that you see, which one would you pick? Post your answer down in the comments, and if you want your question answered right here on TGC News, you can head over to theguncollective.com, go to the Friendly Fire page, and send me your questions now. The DB5 16-inch 308 rifle from Daniel Defense features advancements like dual 5.56 ejectors, a unique flanged barrel extension that does away with the need for a barrel nut, a flared magwell for SR25 mags, an ambi safety, an internal detent charging handle, and combines all these things with DD's cold hammer-forged barrels, a Geissele SSA, a 15-inch keymod rail, and it comes in all under 8.5 pounds. To learn more about the DB5, click the link down in the description or head over to danieldefense.com. I talk about suppressors, silencers, cans, whatever you want to call them, all the time on TGC News. Usually someone in the comments will complain about a tube of metal costing so much money, and then someone else will talk about the NFA being unconstitutional, and we all die a little inside. But thanks to Rebel silencers out of El Paso, Texas, I can smile a little bit more today. This is the SOS-22, a $99 22 long rifle can. SOS stands for screw on stack. Well, what does that mean? Well, essentially there is no outer tube with this. Just screw together the baffles. It's just that simple. That alone is pretty neat, and then you take into account the fact that it only weighs 3.2 ounces. That is half the weight of a Silencer Co. Sparrow. My guess is that they accomplish this by being made entirely out of aluminum and only having 3 baffles. Obviously, this is the kind of thing that made me want to dig more, and the videos I found on their website after that made me actually question buying one. Between the questionable gun handling and excuses for sound levels in the metering video.
It's a little overcast today. Typically when it's overcast, you see a little bit less reduction. And our atmospherics today, it's kind of a heavy feeling day. Our levels are going to be a little bit off. You get a general idea.
I was a bit turned off, but hey, it's a $100 suppressor. Even if it reduces the sound to barely hearing safe levels, it's worth $100 to me. Oh, and they also do the same SOS style can in a 5.56 with 5 baffles instead of 3, and it's made of stainless instead of aluminum. And that 5.56 can goes for $299 MSRP. All in all, it's a great way to get started in suppressors or just add a really cheap can to your lineup. And that is it for this week's show. Guys, you know what to do if you enjoyed this episode. Hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you didn't, let me know down in the comments so we can talk about it. Do not forget to get subscribed. You won't want to miss a single week of this show. Please take a minute to head over to the TGC Gear Store. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. The shirts worn in today's episode of TGC News were provided by Patriot Patch Company. Click the link in the description to learn more.